I was watching YouTube last night, and there was an interesting interview with Clarissa Shields. Now, Clarissa Shields is the middleweight boxing champion of the world. She refers to herself as the greatest woman of all time. And a lot of people agree, some disagree, but she's generally known as the GOAT, G-W-O-A-T. Now, in the course of this interview, she said something, she reminded me of something I'd forgotten. Something quite disappointing. And I'm sure you'd be disappointed in this also. However, let me start with someone else. Let's forget about Clarissa for the moment. These two ladies, on the left in this photo you have Lauren Price. On the right you have Clarissa Shields. Now these were two very successful amateur boxers. Lauren Price won a gold medal in the Olympics, and she was awarded an MBE for her services to boxing. Shields, she got a bronze, but that's good. You know, you have to be very good to get a bronze in the Olympics. Now, both of these ladies are gay, and they turned professional just a few months ago. They had their first fights about 4 or 5 weeks ago. But, yes, now both of these girls, Price and Shields, turned professional. They signed with Matchroom Boxing, and at our very first press conference we were told that they are both gay and they're also in a relationship. They are lovers. Now, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first time that a boxing promotion company has signed up to a gay couple. I think this is the first time it's ever happened. Now, of course, in our multicultural, diverse, transgender type of society, this is wonderful news. It's the perfect image for modern day sport. It's very woke, and we're all delighted with that, aren't we? So you have this gay couple, and they were introduced as a couple. You know, a lot of the questions they were asked were, you know, will they be fighting each other, etc., etc. They were, now of course they would have signed individual contracts, and in that respect it'd be like any other boxers, but they were presented to us as a couple, you know, which was quite weird. Having said that, or well, not weird, unusual. Having said that, it's very modern, it's very cosmopolitan, it's very diverse, very inclusive, which is a wonderful thing, as I'm sure you will agree. And of course this is in the tradition, because there are of course lots and lots of gay female fighters. There are people like Terry Harper, who is one of the most popular British fighters. And then there's Terry Harper, April Hunter, another gay lady in boxing. And she, not so long ago, she was photographed publicly kissing her girlfriend. They were on holiday in some country where homosexuality is illegal. And this was a protest kiss. It was a very public kiss. But she could have ended up in jail for it. But anyhow, this is modern boxing. This is the modern world, and isn't the modern world wonderful? Lots of gay ladies in boxing. We have this gay couple now. And apart from the people we know are gay, and we know these women are gay because they talk about LGBT issues and all of that quite a lot, there are also people like Savannah Marshall. Now, I don't know if she is gay or not, but there are lots and lots of female fighters like Savannah Marshall, who, well, let's say there's speculation. A lot of people wonder. So, boxing, female boxing today, it's doing very well. It's exploding. It's doing wonderful ever since the arrival of Katie Taylor. And of course, Katie Taylor is a case in point too. I'm sure every single person who's watched her has wondered if she was gay or not. But anyhow, this is, I'm repeating myself, my golden rule, I always do it. But this is modern boxing. It's cosmopolitan, it's diverse, it's inclusive, it's LGBT, etc., etc. And of course, that's wonderful. And it's the perfect image, because all of these girls are role models. There are thousands of girls out there who look up to Taylor and Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, and they want to be like them. You know, so they're trendsetters, they're fashion setters, if you like. So all of this is fine and wonderful, because diversity and inclusion and tolerance and LGBT stuff and all that, it's all wonderful, as we know, and as you know. But as I say, I was watching this interview with Clarissa Shields last night, and it was a bit disturbing, well, not disturbing, but a little depressing. You see, Clarissa, the GOAT, as she calls herself, the greatest woman of all time, she was asked what she was going to do after her next fight. Her next fight is with Savannah Marshall, and it's being predicted to be perhaps the biggest fight ever in women's boxing. But she was asked, well, after that, what are you going to do? And she said, well, I'm going to get married. And of course, that's nice, you know, a young woman decides to get married. A bit traditional, but nevertheless. But here's the thing. She's marrying a man. Not only is she marrying a man, but she has said, and said repeatedly, and obviously is serious, that she wants to immediately have at least 2 children. Now Clarissa's a very modern woman and all that, and a great boxer, and probably the most famous boxer in the world, apart from Katie Taylor. But again, she's a trendsetter. People look up to her. Girls follow her. They want to be like her. And, you know, this idea of her getting married in a traditional sort of way to a man, having children, it's all very traditional. It's what would you call it? It's old school. It's well, you could almost say it's all very white, except that Clarissa herself is black. But yes, and of course, I always suspected that there was a problem with Clarissa, because I mentioned in a video, I made a video a couple of months ago in which I spoke about the fact that a huge number of female fighters are Christian. Well, Clarissa is a Christian, and you know, it's not uncommon for her to kneel down in the ring before the fight and to say a prayer, and obviously a Christian prayer. So, now I know some of you out there will think that marriage and children is fine and all that, but it is a bit traditional. It's not quite, well, it's not quite in the spirit of wokeness, you see. And you could say it's a step backward for women's boxing. And a bad example, let's say, to younger boxers who left to their own devices might discover they were transgender, which would be wonderful. But yes, it comes sort of as when you look at young women in boxing and you hear a woman talking about getting married and having children, it does sound very, I don't know, old school, conservative, and as I say, sort of very white, very Western, traditional Western values and all that. And then, as I say, she is, of course, a Christian, you know. But and of course the future of boxing is, well, it's this couple here, Karis Artingstall, Lauren Price. These are the perfect ambassadors for women's boxing. A nice, loving couple. A fine example for the next generation. And very, very woke. Very woke indeed. Pity about Clarissa. Pity about that. There's a bit of a discordant note, but anyhow, we've got Lauren and Karis, a gay couple. As I say, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first couple ever signed by a boxing promoter. So there you are. But as I say, Clarissa Shields, great boxer. I like her personality. Some people don't. I like her. I think she's very funny. But a bit disappointing, you know. Marriage, children. Yeah. Not quite modern, not quite cosmopolitan, but there you are.